Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cold Hard Truth podcast. I'm Jack Smith.
I'm Shrikar Rajendran.
And I'm Anish Gupta.
We got NFL hot takes for you guys today, getting right into it. Hot takes, they get a bad rap. A lot of people, kind of dog on hot takes. They say it's just a way for people to get clicks or, just to, stir some feathers a little bit. But these ones are more calculated hot takes. So we've been thinking for the past week or so about some hot takes we have for this season. And, while they're not just going to be flamboyant things we're throwing out there, they're just things that are against public opinion or things that people might not agree with, but we do believe in, and it's got research behind it. And so in this episode, we're going to bring you some hot takes about a bunch of different players, bunch of different teams. So strap in. There's a good chance it's about some of your favorite players or your favorite team. Shrikar, why don't you start us off, with some of the less hot takes to start off the episode, but what's your first one?
Yep. Well, these are calculated hot takes. Just keep in mind, these are all of our personal opinions. Don't attack us. It's not that we have any hatred for any player or team. It's just it's our opinion. We could easily be wrong. We could be right. It's just a fun thing to do at this point of the season. So, all right, let's start with one that's not hot. The New England Patriots have a brewing quarterback battle going on right now between Cam Newton and Mac Jones. Now, opinion right now among the majority is that Cam Newton will win that job, in training camp, start week 1. I think Mac Jones starts week 1. And here's why. I think Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels, when they made that pick at number 15, they were looking for the most pro-ready prospect. They found him in Mac Jones. And that's why that pick was so great. The fact he slid all the way to 15, the Patriots get the most pro-ready prospect, someone that maybe fits their offense a little bit better than Cam Newton does, because they tried Cam Newton was more of an experiment to me. They wanted to try someone that's dynamic. They wanted to try someone that's a little bit different than the Patriot way and what Bill Belichick was used to in the past. So I think now you have Mac Jones on your team. I think they go more in that traditional route. I think Mac Jones will work a little bit better than Cam Newton in this offense. And we know Jack, me and Jack are kind of lower on Cam Newton than Anish is. Anish is a big fan of Cam Newton. So I don't know how he's taking this, but I think Mac Jones is going to be the starter in week 1. I think he wins that battle in training camp. If it's not week 1, I can say that we'll see him early on in the season, just because he is the most pro-ready prospect. He's not a project. He's not going to take a ton of development, and especially when you pair him with someone like Josh McDaniels. I mean, I think magic could happen with New England. So that is my first hot take, albeit not a crazy hot one.
I mean, if we're going to give it a rating out of 10, I actually would give it a little bit higher, because I think this is really Cam Newton's job to lose. I am a bigger fan of Cam Newton than most. And I mean, to go back to last year, I mean, he still led the league in rushing touchdowns for a quarterback. That's 1. And 2, prior to the COVID year, right, with no OTAs, no preseason, none of that, right? He was basically thrown into the playbook. He signed with them in June. So he honestly came to the team very late anyway. And he still went 7-8. He dogged on a lot of young quarterbacks. He outplayed a lot of them, in my opinion. And, yes, the whole COVID year, or COVID definitely impacted him. And yeah, he had huge accuracy issues, and definitely struggled with adapting to the playbook later in the year. But I think if you give him another full year under the system, I think he can still be productive. So I don't know if Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels would be willing to make that switch right away. Yes, Mac Jones is pro ready, but I think, with Cam Newton still in the fold and with extra time, I think it is Cam Newton's job to lose. And I just don't think Mac Jones can do enough in training camp or OTAs or even the preseason to really change that. I feel like Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels would need to see a lot for them to do it. Which is why I think Cam Newton will start. And ultimately, I was actually thinking about this being a hot take for my own. I was going to say that Cam Newton would start the whole year for the Pats. That was actually one of mine, but it didn't make the final cuts for my big, bold takes. But that was actually I was thinking about that. So to hear you say that about Mac Jones is very, very interesting. But I think, again, I just don't think he'll do enough to get the nod right away. But at least them getting Mac Jones shows that they want to have something for the future. I mean, this is no Jarrett Stidham 4th round pick type of thing. They really invested in this. They kind of knew he was slipping after the Niners bluffed and didn't take him at 3. So I think he will get some playing time, definitely in the future. He is a long-term bet that they were banking on. But to start right away, I just think it's a little bit far-fetched.
Yeah, and I think that if if the Patriots really believed in Mac Jones to start off the rip, they would have thought that he was a little bit more valuable in the draft. I think there was still risk staying
Yeah.
at 15 that he might go, or some team might trade up in front. And yeah, they might have known that no one was going to do that, and they might have been able to just sit back and feel safe about their pick. But remember, they re-signed Cam Newton. He was a free agent that they decided to bring back because I think they realized their offense, as of right now, I don't think that Mac Jones is the biggest upgrade over Cam Newton. I know they're missing out on Tom Brady, and he makes that system go, but I really don't think Mac Jones is that much better than Cam Newton as of right now. And so I think they realized that going into this year, they have a good team, and if they have to run it back with Cam Newton, that's okay. And also, I mean, just even at Mac Jones's pro day, you see Bill Belichick shaking his head. I think they believe he's not as pro ready as a lot of media people also believe, because I would argue probably the hardest place to go and be considered pro ready is in New England.
Yeah.
I mean, you rarely see.
Well, here's the thing about that. You can't just judge off that one pro day because Bill Belichick was watching tape.
No,
you
he's
can't
not,
just go
but
off that.
But like to see, I think the whole pro ready narrative is just simply on his play style. Like it's just, there's not much you need to like, you know, quote unquote manufacture or build. Like it's what he is. That's why, for example, he resembles that Eli Manning build that I compared in my scouting report, or, you know, a Big Ben or a Phillip Rivers, you know, those older quarterbacks, Joe Flacco, that type of thing. Like all those guys came in with a similar type of pedigree and play style. And I think that's why Mac Jones was deemed pro ready out of all the five, because everyone else had this it factor or X factor or something that was, you know, deemed that could elevate them, but also hold them back, right? Like Trey Lance's, you know, mobility, but also lack of playing time and accuracy, that type of thing. That's just an example. So I think that's why Mac Jones just had the least like X factor questions. But also like one point to mention for Cam Newton, he was signed to a 1-year deal worth up to 14 mil. So I don't know if, you know, the Patriots, I think, still have plans to utilize him. Like, I don't know if they were really willing to part with him right away. Like, you know, we've seen, you know, teams re-sign quarterbacks and then get someone else. Like, for example, Kurt Warner and Eli, right? Like that was the thing back for the Giants a long time ago. So I think Cam Newton is probably in their play style, or in their at least offensive play calling for now. But I think Mac Jones, again, like it's very, very interesting to see what they'll do with the, you know, whole new offense and actual time to prep for this season rather than signing Cam in like late June. So that's why I would actually rate it a little bit higher than you might think on the hot take meter, maybe like a 7 out of 10 or something. But yeah, that was
we could go on a scale of 1 to 5. That's easier.
Well, yeah. Like, you know how
I'd say like a 3.5 then maybe. Yeah. 3.5.
It's like if you're at like a wing place and they've got like the little green
spice,
pepper, like
spice
super
scale.
big red.
Yeah.
I think out of 5, I'd probably give it about a 2.5. I think it's right in the middle, because I think there are some people definitely that still believe this is Cam Newton's team as of right now. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that this is Mac Jones week 1. And I think a lot of people are more like Trey Lance is like far in the future, Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields week 1. But I think Mac Jones is kind of in that week 4 to week 8 range for some people, a lot like Baker Mayfield was for the Browns. I think I don't really believe that Belichick will hand over the reins completely to a rookie quarterback in week 1. I mean, his definition of pro ready has to be different than everyone else's in the league. Just based on the way that they run things in New England and the way he's run things for so long, you rarely see rookies step in the biggest situations in Bill Belichick's system and on his team. He wants them to have a little bit more experience. And so while he may be considered pro ready to a lot of other guys, I feel like that definitely means something else to Bill Belichick. So I think that, it's kind of a hot take saying that, Mac Jones won't start week 1, but I'd say it's about right in the middle between hot and kind of just lower on that scale.
Well, quick thing. Like, when is the last time you've seen a Patriots player in contention for Rookie of the Year or an actual rookie get natural, progressed playing time besides, Michael Onwenu, who were
at a big position? I mean, guard is different than quarterback.
Yeah, that was because of obviously O-line injuries and opt-outs. So he was a little bit of an exception. But I can't name last time the Pats rookie really saw, a lot of the field, especially even at quarterback, right? Brady wasn't there. He only came in because of unnatural causes due to Drew Bledsoe's injury. So
only one I could have thought of was Sony Michel, and even then, he was in a split backfield. So
no way.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, I think moving on to mine, this one is very, very specific. But I don't know how you guys will take it. So this one's on Justin Herbert, and I think Justin Herbert and the Chargers will go 5-1 in their 6 divisional games. So they will only lose one. You probably guys will guess it, the Chiefs. I think they'll lose one to the Chiefs, but I think they will sweep the Raiders and the Broncos and split with the Chiefs. I think they go 5-1. And hear me out on the reasoning. So one thing that isn't being talked about is how the Chargers went 4-0 in their final four. I think that it was a really good finish. And for a team that had lost I think 6 in a row, and they were all close. And then there were a couple losses here and there, they got smacked by New England, but there were all hella close losses. The one to the Saints is the one I can really picture. The Chiefs, obviously. Did I mention the Bucks? The Bucks was another one, right? That really came down to the wire. But they kind of figured out a rhythm towards the end of the year, and we can't, obviously forget the notable additions that they had, right? Rashawn Slater obviously leading that bunch. Corey Linsley is another one. Obviously they lost Casey Hayward, but Derwin James is going to come back. There's so many. This team is very intriguing.
Samuel.
Yeah, Asante
Samuel Jr. So there's a lot of intriguing additions to this team, and obviously there are a lot of people who are on this whole Justin Herbert sophomore leap, right, train. So I'm also on it. I don't really see MVP out of him. I know some people are having him as a dark horse, but I mean 5-1 in divisional games will maybe push you in that playoff contention. And I think they will be. The Chargers are a very interesting team. And I think with Justin Herbert, it's just he's a competitor. He kept his team in the game so many times. And I think with the Raiders and the Broncos, he's going to win that quarterback matchup. That I feel that really helps in these type of games, especially in the division. And I think that's what it came down to in the second one between the Chargers and the Raiders when it went to overtime. Justin Herbert simply outplayed Marcus Mariota for the game. That's literally what happened. So I think that's why Justin Herbert is going to take this team to, very interesting heights next year. I see a similar leap to the Cardinals, maybe just might be another year away. But those divisional games, the AFC West, barring, Aaron Rodgers going to Denver or something, as of how they're constructed right now, I could really see him going 5-1. I think the Chargers have always played well to their division. They've never been, dogged by any team. The Broncos haven't owned them. Raiders haven't owned them. The Chiefs honestly haven't owned them. Even when Alex Smith was there, games would always go down to the wire. So I think it's a very interesting thing to, throw out there. But yeah, Justin Herbert 5-1.
I have a disclaimer question. That's an Aaron Rodgers-less Broncos, right?
Yeah,
prediction would change if he came to Denver.
If Aaron Rodgers came to Denver, I would still think they would split. I don't think Aaron Rodgers outright sweeps them. I think they might split. I don't know. I just think obviously I think Denver would win at home, but I think at LA, I think it would be a really interesting matchup to see.
I'm very surprised by your hot take too, because during picks all year, there was no one of the three of us who talked about the Denver atmosphere more than you.
Yeah.
Almost every time you would give Denver the home wins because you're
Denver
I don't know.
And travel miles. Those are my two. Those are
your two things.
X factors for picks. Yep.
So to be able to not only beat the Chiefs once, beat the Raiders twice, beat the Broncos in Los Angeles, on top of that, beating the Broncos in Denver, I think that's the most shocking one. Not the fact they beat the Chiefs once. I think that's definitely doable. But the fact that you said that they're going to sweep the Broncos, I think that's where I, first of all, disagree with you, but that's what also makes it a very hot take in my opinion.
Exactly.
So I would probably 4 out of 5 say this is a 4, or sorry, 5 out of 5 say this is about a 4 out of 5 on the scale. And I personally see them going at best 4-2 in the division.
So if I had to rate that Chargers take on, the hot scale, I'd probably go with maybe a 3.5. Because in my opinion, I think they're going maybe 3-3, 4-2 in the division. 5-1, somewhat of a stretch, but not really. Sweeping the Raiders could be in the cards. I don't think they sweep Denver for the exact reason that Jack gave. I mean, it's mile high air. It can mess with opponents. With the Chiefs, I think they're going to split there. I think that was a good prediction. But I think overall, it all depends on what Brandon Staley and Joe Lombardi do with this offense and how Herbert will progress under, new leadership and new coaching staff. Because I think, I read somewhere, we're going to see elements of a Kyle Shanahan offense in this system. So maybe it benefits Justin Herbert, maybe it doesn't. We'll see how it works out. But I think it's not the craziest take but I think it is pretty hot to say the Chargers going 5-1. And obviously Rodgers to Denver could still happen. Who knows? But I don't think it's a bad take.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the air for the Mile High Air, it usually hits harder in September because you're more exhausted, right? Like more rusty for football.
With another week too this year.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think the Chargers and the Broncos play together at Denver towards I think it's November 28th. But like I don't know why, but Denver's like been having terrible starts these last few years. Like I don't know, even with Mile High Air. So, but that's what I was gonna say. But so with all these like hot takes being discussed. One thing that we have to worry about is getting our predictions wrong. Now, we can get a couple takes wrong here and there, but one thing you can't afford to go wrong with is the wrong trimmer for your balls. Now, predicting Carson Wentz to win MVP is one thing, but getting cuts and nicks because you use the wrong trimmer, that's a whole different ballgame. And that's why today's sponsor is here to help. Today's episode is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. We were some of the first people to try the new 4.0, and we were blown away by the performance. The craftsmanship and detail on the 4.0 are next level. Manscaped engineered the ultimate groin and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and an incredibly comfortable grooming experience. Their 4th-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. With the advanced technology and ceramic blade, you can feel safe and confident shaving your pig skins, and you don't have to worry about deflations or Shrikar getting the Bears' predictions wrong. Oh, and did I mention wireless charging? The new wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction, which can help battery length last longer. Along with the Lawnmower 4.0, Manscaped has other amazing products like the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, and super comfy clothing like t-shirts and boxers. Manscaped is already the official below-the-waist grooming partner of the San Francisco 49ers, and we are super excited to partner with them and bring their product to you guys. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. Get 20% off and free shipping with code CHT20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code CHT20. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Go grab yourself that Lawnmower 4.0.
Let's give it up for him. I don't know. Was the pun intended? Was the pun intended on the ball game part?
Yes,
if so,
was.
that was a good one.
Seeing Alex Caruso rock that pun in countless YouTube ads, I knew I had to put that in there.
That was a good one. Yeah. Down in the description of this video or the podcast episode, wherever you're listening to it, it will have our Manscaped link for 20% off and free shipping. But I guess it's my turn to give a hot take.
Bears fans. If you get it, I can guarantee you that we will have Shrikar pick against you, so that you guys can win your games.
And I'm pretty sure if you go and you use the code, your team is guaranteed to win the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure they wrote that somewhere.
Yeah, they did. I think they did.
So. I can't quite remember.
Hopefully the Browns fans do it, so that can help me out.
Niners fans, get on it, bro.
Well, I think that means it's my turn for a hot take, and I'll start with one of my mellow ones. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown, rookie receiver for the Lions, it will actually lead them in targets and catches this year. Catches, I'm a little bit more iffy on because the TJ Hawkinson, I think he might get a good amount from Jared Goff. But Jared Goff, he likes to throw to the slot. Think about it. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown could play a very similar role to the one that Cooper Kupp played when they were both in Los Angeles together. So I think that as a rookie coming in, I said this last year with Justin Jefferson, actually, before he became as good as he was. I said, I think he'll lead the Vikings in targets and catches over Adam Thielen. And so at this time, the Lions have TJ Hawkinson. They've got DeAndre Swift out of the backfield. They also have
Tyrell Williams.
Yeah, Tyrell Williams. And people were really high on Quintez Cephas last year, but I think in the slot this year, Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be almost guaranteed to win that starting slot position. I really think you'll see him lead in targets for sure. And catches is what I'm more iffy about, but going with hot takes, I guess in this scenario, I really think he can go get the most targets and catches on the Lions this year.
So I'd go with the 3.5 to a 4 on that. Because here's the thing, out of the receiver group, yeah, I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to lead in targets and catches. Out of the pass catching core, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be TJ Hawkinson. And it's fair to think that. I know Jack's a little bit biased because the USC thing. But
I was going to throw that in there. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even saying it's because he's good. I'm just saying, like, I think
he'll just the USC t-shirt. No, I'm just kidding.
He'll just get a large target. He'll just get a large yield of all the targets. But I also just don't think Jared Goff is very good and can get the ball downfield very often. So,
but I think Jared Goff in a new offense, I think TJ Hawkinson's going to be that security blanket for him. But, out of the receivers, I'd make an argument for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Why do I have so much trouble saying
Yeah, I do
Ross
too. I just go with St. Brown. Like, I have so much trouble saying that.
It was just like his brother too, Equanimous St. Brown.
Yeah,
like,
and Osiris.
What are the names, man?
Those are dope names though. I can't lie. But honestly, like, it's not a bad take. I'd go with maybe like a 3.5 to 4 because it is kind of hot. Most people would disagree. A lot of people think Tyrell Williams is the number 1 wide receiver on this team going into week 1. But I think if you're talking about pass catchers, I'm still rolling with TJ Hawkinson.
I mean, I actually think this is the most mellow out of the 3 that we've discussed. And I think that's why I'm giving it like a 2.5 because like, I don't like Tyrell Williams as a number 1. Like that is probably the worst wide receiver 1 going into 2021. Like if you're the Lions, like you don't want to rock with that. I'm sorry. Like that's just not a long-term answer. He struggled mightily with the Raiders. Chargers, he was okay as a number 2, was very inconsistent. And I think the reason why it's not that hot is because like even Brashad Perriman is a deep threat guy. Like he showed some flashes with the Bucks when Evans and Godwin were hurt. Like he had a couple 7-catch, 8-catch games. So, I mean, maybe that could happen, but they were all kind of, deep routes over the middle down the field. So I think as of right now, Amon-Ra St. Brown isn't like listed as a top, the starting slot receiver. I think Cephas is right in the slot, but I think he'll probably pass him in training camp and stuff because they took him for a reason. I think he kind of, I thought he would get picked a little bit higher in my opinion.
Me too.
But, I think they got him in the 4th round. So good pick there. So I really like the pick and I hopped on Pro Sports Outlook and I gave him my take that the Lions had the best draft. And he was definitely one of those picks. So that's why I think he could easily get a lot of the target share because he is a 3-level wide receiver. He played that at USC, kind of replacing Michael Pittman Jr. So I think he can definitely do it. That's why I wouldn't put it as high on the hot scale. And also TJ Hawkinson is a tight end. So like how many times, like he is going to be asked to block a lot too.
Yeah.
Like they want to get that out of him. So how much can he really, really do? Like, again, the tight end record for receptions is I think 108. And it was like set by Zach Ertz a couple of years ago. I don't think he's going to come anywhere close to that. And I think the leader for an NFL team is usually 75 catches on usually like for a really, really good season. So I think, St. Brown could lead it with honestly like 60. I mean, it would take a lot, but like, maybe 60 for 800, something like that. So I think that would be a really good season for him. So I think I'd say 2.5 on the scale.
Okay, Strigar, why don't you start off our second round? We'll go a little bit hotter this time. And then in our third and final round, we'll go our hottest of the hot. What do you got for your second hot take?
All right. This is more of like a fun one, like not stats related. Is like, okay, I'm kind of laughing as I'm reading it. Julian Edelman will get a call from his former QB, Thomas Brady. He will join the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He will come out of retirement and he will play for the Bucs. Now, do I think this will happen? Honestly, like, yeah. I mean, we saw it with Gronk last year. Something kind of pulls these guys just out of retirement, and I feel like it's Tom Brady. So I'm getting a lot of those same vibes with Julian Edelman. I can't explain it. I really can't explain it. I'm getting those same vibes with Julian Edelman. Antonio Brown still hasn't been signed yet. I'm pretty sure it's due to a surgery he recently had, so who knows if he gets re-signed or not. So, I mean, Julian Edelman would make sense.
No. Antonio Brown
did resign. He just got surgery after.
1 year, 6. Yeah.
1 year, $6 million.
Yeah.
But I still think they could use Julian Edelman in that offense, especially if he gets to play with Tom Brady. I think it'd work out for him. But I think it is a lot hotter than the Mac Jones Cam Newton one, mainly because predicting players to come out of retirement, it's like a lottery. Like, you don't know. And especially with so I think Julian Edelman coming out of retirement makes the most sense out of any, retired player in the NFL right now. So, will it happen? Maybe, maybe not. Do I want it to happen? Yes, for sure. I'd love to see that happen. But yeah, let's see. I wonder what you guys think about that, because I don't know if you guys love it or hate it.
I personally wouldn't want to see that.
I don't want to see that, and I really don't think it's gonna happen. I'd say that's probably like a 4.
If we were to rate this, I would put it like 4.5. Like I don't
Fair
think,
enough.
because
there's not a spot for him.
Yeah,
there was a spot for Gronk. There's not a spot for
Exactly. I
Edelman.
was just gonna say, because
Was
O.J.
there
Howard
a spot
had
for
the
Gronk
injury.
though? They had O.J.
No, there
Howard.
was. O.J. Howard had the injury.
O.J.
How
Howard
about that?
Injury concerns, and also like he didn't have a great year that at least towards the end. And Cameron Brate was never ever consistent in terms of blocking or catching. So yes, there was kind of a need. And with Edelman, like, no way. I mean, yeah.
And Gronk's a better player than Edelman, and he was a better player at the time that they were in retirement.
Yeah, like Gronk retired. Gronk retired on the top of the world. Like, he retired as a Super Bowl champion, and
He did. And that's where I'm worried. That's where I'm worried, because Edelman's health issues are a little bit more concerning to me than what Gronk.
And the drop issues. I mean, they already have Tyler Johnson, who's a second-year player.
Declined in the like, he started off actually pretty good. Remember that game against Seattle? Like, he started off really well. But then, again, I think he dealt with an injury. I think it was lower body. I can't remember what it was. But, I mean, he just honestly kind of progressively declined in production and just being able to be on the field. Like, he just wasn't there when the team needed him. So I don't know if I feel like he knew it was time to kind of call it quits. Again, that's not hating on him. Like, obviously his career wasn't as long as I thought it would be. Like, I thought, a guy like him who really didn't have that major injury, like I thought he would last a little bit longer, but he retired at I think a 3-time champion, if I'm not mistaken, or 2, and obviously with the Super Bowl MVP. So, kudos to him for the career. But it's very, very unlikely that Bruce Arians would say, hey, let's get another receiver who's going to demand a lot of targets, right? He's never been a big ego person, but like, how do you, I mean, I feel like maybe Edelman joining the Bucs on the coaching staff, that would be something, right? Like, that could be
that would be interesting.
Right, like Wes Welker.
Maybe you could rephrase it to say, come out of retirement and join the Bucs organization. No, not the team.
For the Bucs organization.
Yeah, that's less hot in my opinion. Hot, but still don't think it'll happen. I think the
Pats would probably again be his first go-to.
It's called hot takes for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, as we said in the beginning, maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. I wrote it down thinking like, man, like what if this happened? Like,
hey, at least we got on a video that you predicted it. So
yeah. It's just like throwing a line out there.
If it doesn't happen, it was a hot take. I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see. It'd be pretty intriguing, though. I mean, I cannot lie. Maybe it's something that you don't want to see, but it's something that'd be interesting to see.
Yeah. So I guess if we want to move on to mine, this one is actually kind of Lions related. So, but not really. Kenny Golladay goes top 3 in receiving yards. And that's pretty, it's a little bit, it's going up there because I want to save my, best one for last. But I think, I don't want to go and say Daniel Jones and we'll go top 5 passing yards again. Oh, man, if Saquon wasn't hurt, man, but even then, I don't think it would have happened. But again, that was one of the hotter ones at the time that I made it. But this one, I really think could happen. Like, I'm seeing a lot of parallels to Diggs joining Josh Allen. Like, remember we had this discussion, Jack, like about how, like, I was, you were asking about the comparisons from DJ to Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. This could be one of them. Like, this is a genuine bona fide stud receiver coming to a quarterback in his 3rd year who's really never had one. Like Slayton had some flashes. He has had nothing close to, a number 1 wide receiver who's been, there. And I think Kenny Golladay, I think he also spoke out on it. And a lot of people he's more than just a deep threat. Like, he is. It's like people get this so, messed up. Like, I
don't even think he's like his number 1 profile is a deep threat. I think he's way more of a physical go up and get the ball receiver than a deep threat.
Yeah, for sure. Like, he can be used in the red zone. He can be used, I've seen him line up in the slot at times. Obviously, in the outside is where you want him. But top 3 in receiving yards, like, hey, he'd probably have to put up, 1,400, 1,500. That's probably where he would have to be. But in an offense that, may be down in a couple of games and may need to just, throw the ball, sling the rock right down the field, hey, he'll go up and get those 50-50 balls, as Jack said. So I think top 3 is a very, very big statement. I was thinking about something about receiving touchdowns, but he's already led the league in receiving touchdowns before. So I didn't want to kind of do something similar to that. And I think receiving yards is something that he could definitely do. He's had 2 1,000-yard seasons. So, to say he can't erupt and go for 1,400, 1,500 in a new offense that will really cater to his strengths, with other receivers that could draw some attention, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, as we mentioned, and Kadarius Toney. I think Kenny Golladay will find a way to get himself open. Yeah, he'll draw some double teams, but again, those three receivers that I mentioned could also get open. So it's a really good place to be in, I think, for Kenny Golladay. And that's why I think, this is a little bit hotter on the scale of the takes that I've made, but curious to hear your guys' thoughts.
So yeah, last year, 1,408 yards would have put a receiver at the third spot. It was 1,407 for Hopkins, 1,416 for Travis Kelce, actually. Are you talking just receivers or just top three receiving yards?
I mean, with the tight ends nowadays, 1,400 for a tight end wasn't even in the ballpark. But now with guys like Travis Kelce, George Kittle, and even Darren Waller in there, man, now you got me. You know what? I'll say, just to make it even hotter, I'll say overall. Yeah, overall receiving yards.
Oh, okay. I think I would have. I like your take. I like Kenny Golladay a lot, especially I think he's got. I would honestly argue top one receiver potential. He's got the potential to be the best wide receiver in the league, and I believe that.
Wow.
But
okay, you're higher than me on that.
I think going top three receiving yards for me is a little bit too hot. If you had said, he's going to have 1,300 plus, I'd be all in. And I think this is a 5. This is a 4.75 take. And while it's possible, I think the only thing holding him back, and what I'm going to say, is Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
I don't think Daniel Jones is – I don't think he's that guy. And especially if they want to incorporate Saquon Barkley back into it, I think Joe Judge does, I just don't see a potential for – I don't see a potential for top 3. Or I can see the potential, but I don't see it happening. I don't see top 3. I see
my initial thing was
possibly.
top 5, but I wanted to go both here. So I said
top 5 would have been, let's see. That's 1,375.
Yeah, but
that's just above Devontae Adams.
Exactly.
I think if you said 1,300, which guys that are under 1,300 last year, Tyreek Hill, Allen Robinson, DJ Moore, Darren Waller. Yeah. I think if you said 1,300 plus, I would have totally agreed with you. And I think this is still a good hot take, and it's a very hot one in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'd go with a 4.5. And more so than Daniel Jones, I also think health is also a big factor when it comes to Kenny Golladay. I really hope he stays healthy.
Yeah, I was literally going to say that too. That is the factor too. He plays all 16, then he can, because if you look at his, I think we've mentioned.
We're not even thinking about something important. 17 games now.
Yeah.
So the yards will be different.
Yeah.
So 1,300
going to be inflated.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Move it to 1,400. I think.
No, but yeah, again, top 3. So that was my thing, not the amount of yards. But yeah, you're right. Can you be healthy all 17 games? That's a good point.
That's
but
tough.
When he was, right? Again, I told you, fantasy God.
He was a beast.
Yeah. Either 100 plus or a touchdown in every game. So he was. So, but yeah.
And I think,
thoughts?
I think at this juncture in the offseason, I think I'm a firm believer in that Daniel Jones can break out. As of right now, I have the Giants winning the NFC.
I'm convincing.
No. It's partly a niche and partly just, what I've been seeing this offseason from Dave Gettleman and Joe Judge. But I think really it's, as I said, it's health. If he can stay healthy, sure, he could go top 3. I think top 5 is a bit more reasonable. But, it's not completely, outlandish.
Mm-hmm.
And just for my peace of mind, how many yards did Stephon Diggs get last year? Because if
he had
15 something,
1546, I want to say. Let's see. 1535.
Yeah.
1535.
Okay. So I don't think it's going to be quite like Stephon Diggs this season. I think that's safe to say.
I think Josh Allen's better than Daniel Jones by a solid margin.
Yes.
I had more faith in Josh Allen than I did in Daniel Jones. So
yeah, but no, Jack had a point with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones just has to keep the turnovers down. Really, he's got the arm. He's got it. He's got that it factor. It's just that he really needs to cut down on turnovers. And Kenny Golladay will get his share. He will get his share. And I think he meshes well in this offense. You already got Darius Slayton. You picked up John Ross, Evan Ingram at tight end. So I think it'll work out. Would I say top 3? No. Top 10 for sure. But top 5, I think, is that sweet spot that I'm looking for. So overall, I'd say 4 or 4.5.
I don't know if Strigar's going to like this one. I think
for
my kind of hotter hot take, Jameis Winston
Oh.
is going to be one of the 3 Pro Bowl quarterbacks in the NFC.
Wait. Oh, you weren't even thinking because we did talk about this off air. You weren't even thinking like alternate. You're saying right off top 3.
Well, no, because I'm thinking as the Pro Bowl happens, which I mean that means you have to be top 4. Because really,
no, because I mean no. Well, there's alternates and then there's actual. So are you saying
Yeah,
actual?
the Pro Bowl and Pro Bowl alternates.
I'm gonna say, I'll go as far as to say that he'll be a full Pro Bowler. I think that.
Wait,
and it
so
is a hot
alternate.
take, not an alternate. No, and I think it is a full hot take because recently, you kind of almost shoe in Russell Wilson, and you can put in Aaron Rodgers, and so then you're left. You've got Jameis competing against guys like Kyler Murray,
Brady.
You got Tom Brady, and Matthew Stafford now.
Yeah, if he goes crazy, yeah.
If he does, but I don't think he does as well statistically as Winston does. So it's completely hot take based because there's just those guys. But I really think
narrative plays a big part in it. So
yeah, but I mean, if you ask people who are the NFC Pro Bowl QB hopefuls, they would go, okay, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, Kyler Murray, Matthew Stafford, and I'm just trying to say Jameis Winston should be one of those guys you're referencing, and I really think that he's got a shot to be one of those first 3, and if not, he's got a very good shot to be one of the alternates too. Like, I'm just saying, I would definitely not be surprised at all to see Jameis Winston in a Pro Bowl jersey later this year,
January.
earlier next year.
And so, Srigar, you want to react first?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing. If Mitchell Trubisky can make the Pro Bowl, can Jameis Winston do it? Hell yeah, he can. And don't forget, Sean Payton is his head coach. Like, it could happen. But here's the thing. I feel like the Saints, they've had a lot of stability at quarterback, and I think the loss of stability, Jameis Winston is someone, I definitely think he's going to be the starter. It's not going to be Taysom Hill, but a Pro Bowler and not even an alternate, I feel like that's kind of stretching it a bit. So I'd go with the 4.5. Do I crack a 5? Potentially. But I think, okay, here's my first question. Why do you think I'd hate that take?
I don't know. That's because I had told Anish about it. And so you were the first person who I was kind of telling on air. Like Anish and I, we were trying to decide because he had a Jameis Winston.
Because
I
that's why I'm going to say like out of the 3 in the second round, again, I think Jax is, I think I said Jax was the hottest last time.
You said I was the mellowest last time.
Mellowest? I think this is also the most mellow out of our 3 again.
Really?
Yeah, because
I think this is the hottest.
I'm gonna spoil my one that I was saving for later. But like for example, I spoke with Jack and I said I think Jameis will have over 30 touchdowns this year because he's had a year under the system already. In the one place we saw him in the playoff game, he threw a beautiful strike against the Bears. So I think Sean Payton will love to have a guy like him. Again, he did have the LASIK eye surgery, and we really haven't seen him since.
Yeah.
So. And again, it's not like the Saints lost any. Like again,
he has the weapons around.
Yeah, exactly. So the Saints have one of the most talented rosters overall, like in the league still. And I think with the players that he has, like it's very, very possible. And it's so narrative based. Think the Pro Bowl is so narrative based. And think about this, or at least the story that I could give you. Jameis Winston comes in for Drew Brees, takes the Saints to the playoffs, or even competes for the division with Tom Brady and potentially like. What if they shock and win it? Like, and the Bucs will be a wild card or something like that. But like, if Jameis Winston can have a good year, he will get Pro Bowl votes because if you do your quarterback rankings, the AFC is so much more top heavy in quarterbacks than the NFC is.
Yeah.
If you do a top 10 to 15 rank, you will only have 4, maybe 5 that are from the NFC. So
we forgot about Dak.
Oh,
Dak
yeah.
we did forget about.
We did forget about Dak Prescott.
And I'm saying, like, if it's one of those, if it doesn't happen, I don't think like I'm going to be, I just totally missed out on a take because that's what hot takes are for.
Yeah. But I think Jack and I are believers in Jameis Winston. That's why I would rate this one a 4. Like,
I'm not that high on Jameis Winston. I'm not as high as those two. So personally, I don't think he's going to be, even saying an alternate to me is a little bit of a stretch. Just because of how much of an unknown Jameis Winston is. You can put a great supporting cast around him. You can put a great O-line for him. but at the end of the day, it's Jameis Winston. Like, you don't know what you're going to get. So I think it's not a horrible take. I'm never going to say anything's like a bad take, especially this early in the offseason. Anything's possible, but will it happen? I don't think so.
Do you think the Saints heavily regress in 2020?
Not heavily. If I had to make like an early record prediction, I'd say they go. Okay, I think they missed the playoffs.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. Okay.
Yeah, I think they missed the playoffs, but I think they go maybe 9-8 or 10-7, something in that.
And that misses the playoffs.
And that misses the playoff.
17 playoff. Okay.
In the NFC, yes.
Yeah, and
I
think
just
if
want
you
you to
take
know
anything
that
from this,
the AFC is a little bit more like competitive. So, I mean,
but I mean, it's quarterback play, more so than team record.
Okay.
So
do you think Jameis will heavily? Okay, all right. Because I think Drew Brees wasn't playing to his standards in
definitely not
2020, and the Saints were the 1 seed for the first 13 weeks. So it'll be interesting to see.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, but if you want to start us with the third round of our hot takes.
Third round, I'm kind of juggling between picking my Super Bowl champion or picking my Super Bowl runner-up. Because my runner-up.
Why don't you just make your Super Bowl matchup?
Yeah, why don't you make it like that?
The whole matchup?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Do I start with AFC or NFC? Let me know.
Just go AFC.
AFC, I think the Chiefs are back in the Super Bowl for the third straight year. That is my prediction.
Okay. So we're basically one on the hot scale for now.
That's
no. For me, that's a 2 or 3.
That's why I'm saying my runner-up.
Yeah.
My runner-up is more hot, than my actual, Super Bowl champion. I think the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl, mainly because here's the thing: Patrick Mahomes now has a really, really good offensive line. If we go in order, I think left tackle Orlando Brown, then you got Joe Tooney, center. Austin Blythe, and then Mike Remmers at right tackle, and then at right guard, Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, I think, will play there. So that's actually a good O-line. He's got the weapons he got from last year. This is a sneaky good defense. D-line is good. They just added Jaron Reed. You got Frank Clark and Chris Jones on that line. Linebackers, not bad. Anthony Hitchens. Corner, L'Jarius Sneed, he's a guy to watch this year. And then you got Tyrann Mathieu and Juan Thornhill at safety. So I think it's a pretty good defense there. Is it better? Is this team better than the Bills right now? Yes, I think so. I think they should be considered the favorites, to go back to the Super Bowl.
They will be the favorites. Yeah, they'll always be.
They have to. Yeah. But my NFC team, and this kind of comes with a caveat. It's if Aaron Rodgers stays in Green Bay. And I think the Packers. This is early. This is an early prediction. I think the Packers make the Super Bowl. And now here's the thing. You may have been expecting a Niner fan to say the Niners, but that would be a little bit biased of me since I feel like I don't even think the Niners win the division. But for the Packers, they really didn't have that bad of a draft. We kind of talked about it before. We've been talking a lot about Aaron Rodgers. But I think he's still got a great team around him. I know they lost Corey Linsley, but Josh Myers stepping in, I think he'll be a good player at center. In terms of an overall team, I think they still go back to the NFC Championship, but this time I think Rodgers has to win one. He just has to. I mean, if you lose 3 NFC Championships in a row,
it would be 5 in a row. Yeah, because he's 1-4. Oh, you lose 5 in a row in the ones he's played. Oh, you're talking years in a row?
No, years.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah, he's 1-4 and he's lost 4 straight. I thought you meant like.
Yeah, but I think he does end up back. I think he does end up back in the NFC Championship. If I had to predict, let me go ahead and predict conference championship matchups too. I think Bills Chiefs in the AFC.
Okay.
And
so
let's go.
You're saying same thing?
Same thing. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Those are my top 2 teams in the AFC. In the NFC, Packers. We'll say the Rams. We'll say the Rams for now. But I think if it's in Green Bay and you're playing the Rams, I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers in that game. But I just spat out my whole playoff prediction here. So I don't know how hot that is, but let's see. What are you guys' thoughts?
I'm wondering where the hot.
Yeah, I think it's a 1.5 too, because look, you basically
let's count.
Here's the hot person in my opinion. It's that you went against NFL parity. Like that's or at least you went against the change. Like that's the biggest part of the NFL. Like the reason why I had the Bills in the AFC Championship last year, or at least remember that was one of my takes, was because I didn't expect it to be the two favorites, which were the Chiefs and the Ravens. I thought one of them would get knocked off.
Here's the thing. My main hot take is the Packers making the Super Bowl. That's the main hot take of all this whole thing.
I think,
but see, they're going to be the favorite. They're pretty much like in this. They're the top. They're the second best. So you don't even have.
With Rodgers.
You don't even have the Bucks in the conference championship. Like that is, I guess, the top part. So, I mean.
I don't.
Yeah, and I think the Chiefs going back to the Super Bowl for me is still a hot take. I don't know what to expect from them coming back off the
you can't
Super
just
Bowl
put
loss.
three new positions on your O-line and expect it to just gel like that. Like I've always said that. So, maybe the month of September, hey, they could be
albeit these are elite players.
Yeah, no, they are. That's why I'm saying, like, that's why I think the Chiefs should be the betting favorites, like 100%, like not even close. And I think they will get back to the conference championship as the Patriots have done. Like they've been to I think they went to 8 straight, if I'm not mistaken. So, who's to say that another team can't do it? And I know it's very different, but Patrick Mahomes has shown he can win. So, I think they should be the favorites to go back.
Do you think the Chiefs go through a hangover?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think it's hot.
They could. That's why
I
think that's why, it's not completely off the scale, but you basically just went against, parity or at least changing and or I don't know, like reshaping of the NFL. Like it always happens like that. There's always a team that takes a rise. There's always a team that takes a fall. So you basically just took like two teams. And
I think it's gonna be the same matchup. It's just my opinion.
I heavily disagree with that.
In my opinion, this is maybe the least hot take of the day.
I do. Yeah, this was like no bold, literally no boldness in my opinion.
I think it's bold, but I feel like
bold
even our lower round, we had some hot takes. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Here's
I think this is the mellowest though out of all, because I think the whole thing is to go against the betting favorites in my opinion. But what he said was
the Packers aren't betting favorites in the NFC.
No.
They are. I mean, they're one of the two. If they keep Aaron Rodgers.
They're one of the two. Yeah, they have Aaron Rodgers. So what he said was he went against the whole notion of people going against the betting favorites and saying no, the betting favorites will continue on. So I think that was the hot feature, and I think that's what I took away. So I'll give it a 1.5. Jack, you want to tie with me on that?
Yeah, I think I'll give you. I think I'd go the same.
If you want me to move this, I've waited so long for this.
Yeah, as we wrap this episode up, Anish and I will give our last two.
Yeah. So this one I really wanted to say, and man, I struggle with it because I didn't want to jinx anything, but okay. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I think Carson Wentz will have a better season than Dak Prescott.
Oh, another Carson Wentz.
Yeah. So I'm risking it so hard right now, but I can't. I'm sorry. I don't care what happens. I will always defend Carson Wentz. And look, in this whole 2016 draft class, I think it's people are kind of solidified in their opinion saying, oh, Dak is 1, Wentz is 2, Goff is 3. I think or actually, no, I don't even know if they would put Wentz over Goff. I don't know. But I think people seem to forget how good he was. I'm sorry, people. I still believe in him. I still do. And with Indy, I think it's so much more possible that this take is right. Because, and better season, again, remember when I did the Ryan Tannehill over Deshaun Watson thing? I think it was very, there were a lot of criteria that kind of made it different. So I think, for example, they'll have more wins for sure. In my opinion, that I think will be solidified. And I think they'll have, Dak has questions with the ankle injury, and that's why this take is so specific. So I think Wentz will finally kind of, I think he'll erase a lot of doubters from the 2020 season. And I think he'll take the Colts to the playoffs. I actually think they'll get a top 3, maybe even top 2 seed. I'm a believer. I still am in Carson Wentz. I mean, I rewatched his highlights and I fell in love with this game again. I'm sorry. I just did. Some of the plays, I'll send it to you guys too off air. Just my God, what he's able to do. But yeah, enough about me hyping him up. I think just that in itself, I think he'll have a better overall season than Dak Prescott. And I think he'll take a lot of those, critics' eyes, or at least,
Well, here's the thing. Are you saying statistically he's going to be better?
See, that's where I think he kind of goes a little bit so.
I mean, it helps if he's on a better team because wins aren't always him.
Yeah, I think it'll go wins. I think he'll have more. I think he'll have more passing touchdowns. And this one is the shocker. I think he'll have a better touchdown to interception ratio. Or actually, how about this? touchdown
That's
to
not that
turnover.
hard.
That's not.
Oh, you mean compared to Dak?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So,
I'm not seeing
he had 15
touchdowns
picks
at
last
all.
year.
Passing
Right?
touchdowns is going to Dak.
Dak,
Wentz
yeah.
can go to Carson
Yeah,
Wentz.
so that's why I think total touch, because Carson Wentz was before he got benched, I think he was second in rushing touchdowns for a quarterback. So I think overall touchdown to turnovers. Hey, it's my hottest take on the list.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
so,
I think we're a little too biased to reply to that one.
Yeah,
YouTube.
because they don't like him. Just want to say
No,
that
we
out
don't.
not that we don't like him. It's just no. Like we just
Yeah. YouTube, go down in the comment section and let us know where you would rate it. Do the same 1 out of 5 rating. But for my final hot take, this is one I thought about for a while, and I was trying to find a way to fit it in. Anish, you think the AFC North is a really strong division, right?
Yes, I do.
I think only one of the 4 teams make the playoffs.
What? Whoa! What the hell?
I think
Okay.
one team makes the playoffs.
Who is it?
I think the Browns. I think it's the Browns.
Okay.
And I think this is
So you
obviously
think
means that the Steelers and Baltimore misses. And I think the way you look at it is you've got the Chiefs, you have the Bills, you have the Browns, and you have the Colts up at the top. There's 3 more spots, or in the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are I think they're definitely going to make it. So that's 5. There's 2 spots left.
Okay.
So the Ravens and the Steelers are going to be fighting with the Titans,
Chargers.
the Patriots, the Chargers, the Broncos. And so
maybe LV, but
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, I think hot take. Maybe it's not my actual prediction. I'd probably predict that Baltimore gets in there, but I really would not be surprised if Cleveland is the only team from the AFC North that makes the playoffs.
All right. So Jack, I don't think your take was like outlandish. First of all, I think it's definitely in the cards. But in my opinion, I think Baltimore will make the playoffs. Only because like of those teams that you mentioned, like I think the Titans don't make the playoffs. I don't think the Chargers are going to make the playoffs. I mean, I think Baltimore is going to be in there. I mean, Lamar Jackson, I won't doubt, in the regular season. In the playoffs, different story. Regular season, I think he's a sure bet to make the playoffs. But it's not a crazy take.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the air for the Mile High
Air. I think Steelers. I agree. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs. Browns, right? They'll win the division
for football.
But Baltimore.
Exactly. I was, but like, because I think the Chargers and the Browns.
I mean, I'm used to hearing that.
They might be my AFC
Super Bowl. Browns will win.
Yeah, but like, I don't know why, but Denver's like been
but
terrible.
I think the Browns and the Ravens both make it.
So, but that's what I was gonna say. But so with all these like hot takes being discussed, one thing that we have to worry about is getting our predictions wrong. Now, we can get a couple takes wrong here and there, but one thing you can't afford to go wrong with is the wrong trimmer for your balls. Now, predicting really Carson Wentz to win MVP is one thing, but getting cuts and nicks because you use the wrong trimmer, that's a whole different ballgame. And that's why today's sponsor is here to help. Today's episode is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped just launched their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right. The 4.0. We were some of the first people to try the new 4.0, and we were blown away by the performance. The craftsmanship and detail on the 4.0 are next level. Manscaped engineered the ultimate groin and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and an incredibly comfortable grooming experience. Their 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. With the advanced technology and ceramic blade, you can feel safe and confident shaving your pig skins, and you don't have to worry about deflations or Shrikar getting the Bears' predictions wrong. Oh, and did I mention wireless charging? The new wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction, which can help battery length last longer.
Yeah.
Along with the Lawnmower 4.0, Manscaped has other amazing products like the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, and super comfy clothing like t-shirt and boxers. Manscaped is already the official below-the-waist grooming partner of the San Francisco 49ers, and we are super excited to partner with them and bring their product to you guys. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. Get 20% off and free shipping with code CHT20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code CHT20. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Go grab yourself that Lawnmower 4.0.
I'd go with the 4.5 as well. Yeah.
Wow,
Yes,
I thought it was
was.
a 5, to be
After
honest.
seeing Alex Caruso rock that pun in countless YouTube ads, I knew I had to put that in.
Yeah.
Wait, quick note. Bears fans.
Mhm.
If you get it, I can guarantee you that we will have Shrikar pick against you so that you guys can win your games. Yeah, they did. I think they did. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I was
hopefully
thinking
the
between
Browns
that one,
fans
like which
do
is
it,
hotter,
so
that one
that can help
or
me out.
I'm trying to think, is that possible? 4 teams from the NFC West in the playoffs. I felt like this was even hotter than that.
Yeah.
So
I expect 3 teams from the NFC West to make
for
it.
sure, I think it's almost a guarantee 3 teams.
Yeah.
And then just whether the Seahawks or Cardinals sneak their way in as that 4th team, not quite sure yet. But anyways, yeah, I would definitely. I have the Niners in the.
Yeah.
As of now, I'd say probably the NFC Championship game. I don't know about that yet.
Yeah, no, I'm a Niner fan, and I disagree with that. I think the farthest the Niners go is probably like second round. Like
I think they lose on the division, but get further than the Rams in the playoffs. And I've said that for a while.
Tyrell Williams.
Yeah, wait, I'm the Niner fan here.
Yeah, just be happy. Just be happy with it. But
and you can't say I'm biased anymore. You can't say I'm biased.
No.
There you go.
And my last hot take: the Jets are winning the Super Bowl officially this year. Yeah.
Mitch Trubisky starts over Josh Allen week.
Oh my God. But anyways, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We had a blast recording it, other than the technical difficulties that hopefully you guys didn't quite notice. But
I definitely noticed.
They definitely noticed. If you haven't noticed, Shrikard's on a different device.
Yeah.
And we've had Zoom restart a couple times.
Yeah.
Anyways,
the USD team.
We got through it, and we're anxiously awaiting the start of the next NFL season. We're sorry about the lack of video content on the channel soon. We're almost done with high school. I mean, like, we had our last classes the other day.
Bear with us. We're on a grind. You're on a
getting through AP tests and graduation, and the next couple weeks, and then after that, we're off free, and we're able to get you guys a lot more content. So bear with us for just a couple more weeks, and we've got you guys. We hope you enjoyed.
Yeah.
Just use our code CHG20 Manscaped. Yeah. You can just be shaving the whole time instead of watching our videos. But anyways, thank you guys for listening to this episode. We hope you enjoy. These two are just going to keep laughing. I got to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you next time.